Well, this is my final day.
Hey, Hogs. Hogs Daddy.
Been good knowing you.
Yeah.
Zacho was breaking Timberwolves news.
Is that why you missed the
Yeah,
weather?
he was talking about it. Yeah.
It's okay, Chad. He was doing work, and he missed it because he was doing Timberwolves scooping. Give it to me, baby.
I got 2 more hours left on this show, folks. I'm sorry.
Don't count your chickens.
We might kick you out earlier.
No, the Timberwolves, which includes all the TV people that we know and love, Rebecca Brunson. What's that? Marnie Gellner?
Yeah, right.
All that. They're going to put 5 games on linear over-the-air TV on Care 11. Oddly enough, this year. So if you don't have FanDuel Sports Network and you've been wanting to watch the Timberwolves, the Wolves are going to put some games on the old Care 11.
On terrestrial TV?
On over-the-air, old school, but still great school television.
No kidding. Good. Good for you guys. Well done.
And they're going to have the same people doing it? Like, is Marnie going to still be involved?
Same people, same talent.
Huh, great.
Good for them.
I wouldn't doubt that FanDuel, that same crew just produces it, but it starts on the 21st of December.
Do you remember?
The 21st night of December, the Wolves against Golden State, and it will be available to watch on Care 11. So,
sweet. So excited.
Yeah, I would imagine that is something that other teams are going to probably do in the near future as well.
People are just trying to figure out this whole television thing.
Really,
everybody. The long-term view is that it's going to become even more profitable to have television rights than it is now. But nobody knows what the business model looks like for that anymore. You can't put it on the backs of all the people who were not subscribing the way you could with cable. So,
yeah, they're figuring it out. It's every industry has to go through this eventually, right?
Yep, that's a bubble that has burst.
It certainly has.
Or it's in the middle of bursting.
Yeah, right.
So
this bubble's about to burst.
Yes.
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey.
Hey, that's me. Brought to you by Carboni's. Get yourself some pizza and pasta. Delicioso. So good. And here's what's going on in the world.
Best cheese bread ever, by the way.
Say that again.
Did you say
best cheese bread ever?
No, he's right. That cheese bread is
because it's actual cheese.
It's
bread.
actual cheese on top of bread.
It's not cheese toast.
Yeah,
I like garlic cheese toast.
Because don't you hate it when you order cheese bread and they bring you cardboard with a little cheese on it?
Right. This is soft.
This is actual bread.
The innards are so good.
Whoa!
And you know what? We know.
We know you like the innards.
We know.
I love the innards.
Marnie likes the outards.
Wow.
She does.
She does.
She talked about it yesterday.
Yes, she did.
Everybody be cool. General Motors is giving up on its Cruise driverless taxi service.
Really?
The automaker announced Tuesday that after spending $10 billion on the program, the amount of time and money required to expand into the robo-taxi market is just too much.
That's
a lot of money.
I mean, that is, I don't know if it's the same way anymore, but when you lease any Tesla vehicle, you can't buy it out at the end of the lease because the plan is all of those vehicles were going to become exactly that. Driverless cabs. Yeah. And so, that's weird that that company is pulled out of that.
Who was I talking to somewhere the other day? I don't think it was on the air. And they were driving along with somebody, and they were asleep. They were coming home from a casino, and they were driving. They were in the passenger seat, riding with somebody, and they woke up, and they looked over, and the driver was asleep as well, and his Tesla was driving him home. And the guy said, "I do it all the time. It's no big deal." And apparently, and this is apparently very illegal, so don't do this.
Yep.
He put like a carb, carbiner or whatever you call it, you know?
Yeah.
On the steering wheel, so it thought that somebody's hand was on the wheel.
Yeah, that's
went night.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that is. I had
it was
one.
Asti Spumanti.
Man, I had
good guy.
One
Marco Rossi.
Yeah,
they are
Martini Rossi.
I would never trust that.
No,
that's ballsy.
Yeah,
that's ballsy.
Yeah,
because like you still like.
Yeah.
I mean, they have
It's
cars.
still
A
in
lot of
beta.
cars now where
Have
like
you heard Elon Musk talk?
right. There's cars now where like they'll brake and they'll do all these other things, but like you got to be alert. I would never do that.
No. But I do hope the technology gets there eventually.
This is why General Motors is probably withdrawing after investing $10 billion in something, right?
Yeah.
Like the questions are, I mean, they have multiple obstacles to overcome. One is like right now nobody thinks of General Motors when it comes to robo taxiing. Like they just don't have. They'd have to find, launch an app, get people to recognize them. Uber is almost Uber and Lyft is almost used ubiquitously now.
Yeah.
And then the second is there's no guarantee that we as people are ever going to accept robo driving cars.
I think we will.
I think
Yeah, absolutely. And it won't be a choice eventually. And I encourage it.
In the West.
Yeah.
I mean, humans are terrible drivers.
It's true.
And
listen, I'm not saying it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not valid.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm not sure we're going to be able to accept it.
Yeah, well.
It is pretty rare that we put limits on what we allow technology to do.
Listen,
but
John,
this seems like one of the ones that we might.
There's a lot of things apparently people are willing to accept that I never would have guessed.
Well, I'm with you 100%.
Chatbot company Character AI is being sued for allegedly leading teenagers to harm themselves.
What?
The lawsuit claims the chatbot allowed underage users to be targeted with sexually explicit, violent, and harmful content
Jesus.
and encouraged acts of violence on themselves and others. I could read the rest of the story, but it's too damn sad. But the bottom line is this. Again,
Man.
chatbot company Character.ai is doing exactly what the movies tried to tell us it was going to do.
I'm ignorant on this. What is that?
It's just like a Chat GPT. It's like just a type of
I'm not hip.
we know.
I don't know. You got some hips.
No,
A chatbot hinted a kid should kill his parents over screen time limits.
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly right. And by the way, it did worse than that, and a couple of the kids listened to it. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You know how people say, well, my dog told me to,
Right.
shoot the neighbor.
That's Son of Sam, yeah.
Somebody's computer probably will be telling them to do that sometime soon. So y'all be careful.
Well, if you're riding to school
Am I riding dirty?
with your parents this morning listening to this show, I just want to say, don't kill your parents.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, don't do that.
Give them a smooch.
Yeah.
Give the more you know.
Yeah. Ding dong dung. Asti spumante.
God, you're the one who can't get that out of your head. Don't
I think
blame
I already
us.
admitted that.
You did admit it.
Yeah,
The
you did.
Federal Trade Commission.
Whoa.
Is that
I'm sorry?
The Federal Trade Commission.
Q-mission? They do cumin spice?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Is sending out refund payments to more than 620,000 Epic Game customers and Fortnite players.
Oh, hell yeah.
They were tricked into making unwanted purchases. It's part of a $245 million settlement the company agreed to pay in 2022 in order to resolve allegations that it used unlawful billing practices known as dark patterns, which happen in my underwear,
Ugh.
in order to deceive players into unknowingly making purchases. The FTC said the average individual refund payment will be about $114, but apparently they were getting you to buy things without you even knowing it. So you might get $114 back if you were a Fortnite or Epic Games player.
I'll check my inbox.
I'll check my underwear.
Do you know what a dark pattern is or what that practice was?
Well, it's
I
like
love how Bonus doesn't even look in my direction when asking that question.
it's like
I thought Zach might be researching it as we
And he
speak.
probably knew.
Or
a user interface that has been carefully crafted to trick users into doing things, such as buying overpriced insurance.
Hockey.
But oh my gosh, you are a victim of dark patterns, Hawk.
I told you,
He's
look at my
shopping right
pants.
now.
but it's a clothing related.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think you need the dark pattern to be tricked into. You don't need to be tricked into it.
No.
You've already bought it.
Wait a minute. You telling me you're selling dark patterns on sale? Well, I got to buy that. Anyway, yeah, dark patterns.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Beware the dark patterns.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, yeah. Here's a good one for you. It seems like a pointless chore, and I believe, even despite this news story, that it is. But a lot of us do it every morning. Bree Tennis has a morning task that actually can help you sleep better that night.
A YouGov poll shows 37% of all Americans always make their bed in the morning. They say men do it more than women. The reason we don't is time. But the Hotel Association says if the sheets are already on the bed, that task should take you less than 3 minutes. And there are positive psychological benefits to making your bed every day. The National Sleep Foundation says making that bed in the morning has been proven to reduce stress, increase feelings of calm, and help you sleep better when you crawl into bed at night. I'm Bree Tennis.
I read a book called Make Your Damn Bed.
Yeah.
Seriously, I did.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was about. You go ahead.
How do I say this without sounding crass?
How about you sound crass?
I don't remember the last time I made a bed. And my wife gets up after I do. So she's the one who makes it,
last
right?
one up should be the one who makes the bed, right?
And that is part of her daily bit, not like chore, but like that's part of her.
In trouble if she doesn't?
No, of course not. That's just part of her. She's all about that, right? Like it's the first task you complete.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked to know that anytime I've made a bed in the past, I do it about 10%, and then I get asked to never do it again. I hate fitted sheets, putting them on.
Oh, those are the worst.
But that's why.
But that's not making the bed.
But that is why, and hockey knows this. You got to get the Sleep Number sheets that have this thing that go underneath so it kind of hangs onto the bottom so they don't come off. Because as a large man rolling around in the bed, sheets, fly off the bed and then all of a sudden you're like wrapped up like a warm burrito. But get those Sleep Number fitted sheets.
On the one hand, I agree that I always feel better when the bed has been made. Like our life feels like it's more in order. On the other hand, you're not the boss of me. I make my bed when I want to make my bed.
Yeah, here's what he wants. I do what I want to do.
That's going to be my act of rebellion for the day. I'm not going to make my damn bed.
I made Bonus's bed every day when I lived in his house for a month.
Did you?
Well, yeah. You had to clean the sheets.
In this next break, I'm driving home and unmaking my bed. Look at that.
Hey, Hogs, quickly, a shout out to you about this has been the year where Chris Hockey has been right about a lot of things.
Holy moly.
You are 1,000% right about that cube pillow.
I know.
That's the greatest.
It's the greatest pillow of all time.
Excellent.
I can't believe how good it is.
Yes.
I know.
I bought 2 of them because why not?
Of course.
Kelly and I each use one. A 10 out of 10.
I agree. And for everybody who sends me, and I completely get it, I'm just going to say it. It's called the Cube.
Yeah.
You ask me, where can you get it? Just write the Cube.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, but it's a great pillow.
Yes.
Really, really. And they have different sizes as well. I love it. It is awesome. Well done, sir.
Hawk, you got up at what, 3:30 this morning?
3:20.
3:20 this morning. Is your bed currently made?
It is.
So you make your bed at 3:20 in the morning. You get up to get to a 5:30 radio show, and you take time to make your bed in the morning.
I do. That's right.
That is more than I would be willing to do.
That's right.
You're an inspiration.
That is impressive. Or obsessive compulsive. I'm not sure which.
I'm almost positive the book was called Make Your Damn Bed, but it was written by a general.
I think you're correct.
Right.
And he was like talking about things you could do in your life just to improve yourself. And I think it started like as a commencement speech somewhere. Gosh, man, it's been so long.
That sounds right.
But it was a really good book. And I only remember one thing. But, look at me. I'm completely put together because of that.
Yes.
Sorry, I was sending it was the first time John Creasel asked me, I love this song.
I know you do.
It was the first time John Creasel asked me for a link that wasn't pornographic. He wants the Cube link.
Johnny K, I'm going to tell you right now. I've led you astray a lot of times. I'm not doing it this time.
Well, it's normally at the casino.
That's what I mean. You will love this pillow.
It's A+.
Well, on the other hand, Hawk, think of how much of a mess you would be if you didn't make your bed.
That's a great point. You're right. You're right. I'd be laying in the gutter right now. You're right.
Are there any other books you read? Are there any other books you read that you do every day now?
The Kama Sutra. Let's go to High V. Everybody be cool. We'll be right back. Jonathan Grenard, everybody.
Time now for the Vikings Report, presented by Hy-Vee, the official grocery partner of the Minnesota Vikings. Linebacker Jonathan Grenard joins the power trip next, thanks to Hy-Vee.
It's 7:27. It's the Power Trip Morning Show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. The 11th day of December. I was just reading an article, Johnny Bones. You and I were talking about this a moment ago. So, hi.
Hi.
So this guy, you might know his name. You know business stuff. I do not. David Levy is his name. Let me tell you a little bit about who he is. At Turner Sports, he launched Inside the NBA on TNT.
All right.
He brought March Madness to cable in partnership with CBS and staged the match between Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson.
Oh, man.
Okay, so he's done a lot of good things. And
big things.
They asked him about, the future of television, the future of sports, but the future of sports television in particular. And he believes streaming services, are going to continue to snap up the rights because, and it was a really interesting point, and I'll do my best to just, what's that word when you make it a short sentence?
Summarize?
That's it. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for helping me summarize what I was trying to remember. So he was saying that streaming services, their biggest problem is like somebody will subscribe to Paramount, let's say, and just watch one season of Yellowstone and then drop out of the subscription.
Right.
If they get the rights to the NBA, they're there for 8 months.
Okay.
And then they're going to probably stick around because they're going to come back again in 8 months or in a few months. In 4 months, right? So he's talking about that. But then he says, listen to this. He says, looking ahead, he said if he was in his old seat as a network executive, I would be investing heavily in women's sports right now.
Yeah.
Rights fees are still cost efficient, and WNBA games out-delivered NBA games. That's a pretty bold statement.
Wow.
And I never would have thought in my lifetime that the women's Final Four would out-deliver the men's Final Four, but it did. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
That is interesting.
And this is a guy who right now doesn't have a dog in the fight. He that's not what he does for a living anymore.
Right.
He's just saying, this is what I do if I still had that job.
That is interesting. We've been toying with the idea of launching a women's sports site. And by toying with the idea, I mean turning it over in our minds and such, and what a team like that would look like. I really feel like there's a market for that, and it feels like it's the time to jump in right now on that. You're certainly seeing explosions in women's growth here locally, right? Or women's sports here locally. Like, the Lynx obviously were a huge story this past year. But, we've got the Aurora. We've got the women's hockey team, which is the Frost.
There you go.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Great merchandise.
You've got, also, Gopher women's hockey has been huge for a long time. And then you've got now Gopher women's volleyball is absolutely taking the Gopher women's basketball has been big for a long time. So it does feel like it feels like we, occasionally you run into events where you've got a market there to be served, but the coverage of that market hasn't figured it out that it's there yet.
Well, it's
right that they've already established and they've kind of gotten into the habit of covering these sports and not those sports, and it takes often like a decade for the media to kind of catch up with that.
May I be self-critical for a moment in that exact way, Johnny? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that is the problem. The sponsors are ready to spend the money. Our media, our business hasn't recognized it yet.
Yeah, I think
we really haven't. It's the dumbest thing ever, man.
Yeah, first you get the audience, then you get to some extent the media and the sponsors kind of gradually find, hey, there's this huge audience doing that, right?
Well, of course there is.
And
and it doesn't have to be 70 billion.
It feels like that has been underrepresented so far.
Right.
We just have people are too used to doing the business they have done in the past. They have not discovered that they should be focusing on this breakthrough sports,
like podcasts. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to go down that road. But listen to this: Levy oversaw the inaugural Shark Beauty Women's Championship Classic, which was at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. It was the women's best 4 college basketball teams.
Okay.
And they all played. 11,000 people turned out. The merchandise sold out, and the event turned a profit.
Right.
It was the first one ever. And in the beauty category, Shark Beauty had a dry bar on the premises that girls and their mothers packed.
Oh, wow.
I mean, what a brilliant way.
Yeah.
I mean, overserve them. Give them reasons to come, right? There are lots of products out there for ladies and young ladies.
Right.
Right? Anyway, I'm sorry. But it makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to me. Good for them. That's cool. Let's do it.
Yeah, I should probably be more proactive on that. But
You probably should.
Yeah,
Yep.
bonus. This is an intervention.
This is definitely an intervention.
Yeah.
And not about the women's sports thing. It's a completely...
No.
I'm kidding. Anyway, so there you go. Speaking of sports, by the way, let's talk some.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
Thank you. Zacko, your Wild beat the Utah Hockey Club 5-4 in OT late last night. The Wild trailed 4-3 with about 45 seconds left, and Marco Rossi scored the equalizer to send it to a shootout, overtime, then a shootout. The only goal that was scored in the shootout was by Matt Boldy. Your Minnesota Wild are very good. They are now 19-5-4. They will battle the Oilers tomorrow at 7:30.
Yeah, finally back home, and what a way to come back again. Another very successful road trip again. Tough loss on Saturday against a very good Kings team, but they rallied back. They were down 4-3, scored a awesome goal late. Thank you, Marco Rossi, and then won it in the shootout. So these guys, they're still winning despite all sorts of injuries. The good news is, I will say, Russo tweeted out last night that Hines mentioned that there's some positive signs with Eriksson Ek and Zuccarello coming back, Brodin as well. So I mean, think about it. These are three big names that they have gone without, but other guys are stepping up, and Kirill Kaprizov finds pay dirt again. 18 goals now. I mean, this is he's becoming the superstar. Finally, after all these superstars we thought were going to be generational talents, we finally, I think, got one here in the Wild, and Kaprizov.
My Stanley Cup is Saturday. We play the Flyers on Saturday. The Wild play the Flyers on Saturday. And my wife, of course, is a Philadelphia fan. So
revenge.
That to me is bragging rights for the year.
One of the few teams, I think, one of the two teams that have beaten the Wild.
Yes.
When the Wild were playing on the road this year.
So. Are you going?
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
We'll see you there.
The Wolves are off until Friday. They will battle the Lakers at Target Center at 7 p.m. But Zacko, there is a new place where you can. Oh, thanks, Bob. Where you can watch the Wolves.
Yeah, so part of the agreement with Diamond Sports Group, which owns FanDuel Sports Network, is that they, the FanDuel, Diamond and NBA came together and said, we're going to allow NBA teams to broadcast 5 games on local over-the-air television. And so part of that agreement is now being enacted with the Wolves partnering with Care 11. And so 5 games this year now will be starting on December 21st, the game against the Warriors. Yeah, you don't need cable. You don't need any of the apps or anything. You can just watch on 11.1, Care 11 here in the Twin Cities.
There you go.
Week 15, Hogs Daddy of the NFL season starts with the Niners hosting the Rams tomorrow at 7:15 on Amazon. The Niners are 2.5-point favorites.
Oof. Yeah. Do we know, by the way, yet? The reason I ask is because obviously we're getting closer and closer to it, and I know it was to be determined for a long time. Do we have a date and time yet for the Detroit Lions game, the final game of the year?
We will not have until basically Sunday night, the week before.
Okay. Yeah. But is there any? It only could be Sunday night, right? It couldn't be Monday night.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, they all end. Yeah. And my guess is, and Zacko, you know more about this because this is kind of your thing when it comes to knowing when all this happens. My guess is it will, if it matters, it will be a 3:00 game because they will play it at the exact same time the Eagles game is, because they could also be in for the number 1 seed. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to happen before we will get there. So you could a million different scenarios, and as we've talked about too, is there is a chance that a 15-1 team and a 14-2 team go into the final week of the regular season with nothing on the line.
Think about that.
Unreal.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid to even think about that. I don't know why. If I feel like I'm a hoax or a hex or whatever. I don't know if I feel like I'm bad luck, but I am so worried about even thinking about that right now. One game at a time, baby.
The Eagles, of course,
fly all over the place.
In the last game get to play the Giants.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a hot take, though.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, baby.
Is it the worst thing in the world? I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be fine. We'd love to win the division, or we'd love to get first-round bye. Obviously, that is optimal.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't mean anything, what does that game look like with two teams that can't move in the standings that
Yeah.
They play at noon. How many starters even play?
Especially for a team that hasn't had a bye week since week 6.
Yep.
Right.
Well said.
That is a really good point, Zach.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. If we can't advance,
That nobody will play.
then why would we play anybody? Give them a week off.
Sorry.
You didn't have to raise your hand. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but Detroit will. They always do. They played last year when they had nothing to play
You're
for.
right.
They will play.
Yeah.
Let 'em.
Dan
That's
Campbell is not resting his players.
No, he doesn't. They'll play.
And I'm sure that is probably, there's some wisdom to that. But man, again, I think about how long we've been playing. What team was it? Washington last week had their bye week finally?
Yeah, Washington and Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know,
incredible.
man. It's a long time to go without a bye week.
Hey, so I know we have Vikings news
We do
next.
next, that's
I
right.
have. I thought of this about 2 hours ago when I was sitting here, and I would like to present this to you. Another example of why we shouldn't be so eager to move on from Sam Darnold, and I'll explain when we come back.
Power Trip Morning Show. That's a hell of a tease. We'll be right back with that.
Hey, don't miss out on the Power Trip Morning Show when they take over the Treasure Island Resort and Casino on February 6th and 7th. Be there for tons of games and laughs and great prizes, including Vegas trips to watch the big game. Book your stay using promo code KFAN for both the 6th and the 7th to save 15% to get the full details. And book your stay today. Head over to KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
Again.
Yeah.
Plan your whole, it's a great time, a great excuse. It's going to be cold. It's going to be February. Stay 2 nights and have some fun. And stay there for the
I like the Alaskan pipeline.
I know you do, Rose.
Chris Hockey's band show.
Yeah, we're going to be, so Thursday it's the Power Trip, and we're having fun doing the radio show off the radio, and then Friday morning we do the radio show on the radio, and then Friday night we're rocking it out with the Chris Hockey Band. And so come spend the night. If you can't stay both nights, it's cool, come one of them, but if you can come both of them, might as well, right? Make it a whole weekend. Just forget about your problems for a while. Me and you and Tony Braxton. She's not
Is
gonna
that,
be there.
is that who sings this?
Just false advertising is what that is. She's not going to be there. I apologize. I don't know why I said it like that. But Boyz II Men will be there. That's not true. That's false advertising too. I apologize. I don't know
Quit
what I'm
doing the false advertising.
We're giving away free street tacos. That's not true.
No, he can't say
I
that.
don't know why I'm doing that.
What band? Is it the Chris Hockey Band?
I think I just said that.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I don't mean to get upset at you.
I was reading about this greasy thing that keeps getting greasier off the
You're a
air.
wiener?
No, not that. Yo, wiener.
What's getting greasier?
I was
that
telling
thing
you
you
off
just
the
told me
air.
about. Oh my gosh. What a rotten thing to do.
Yep.
I digress, though. It's not my story to tell.
You are correct. See, that is the right response.
Amen, brother. Let's do some.
Listen to the Hulkster.
That's right.
All right, do you want to hear my bit?
Can I hit the Vikings news sound?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's time for Vikings News.
Gaze
on the Power
at a-
Trip, presented by
Radco, your truck accessories pro.
I'd like to say thank you to Radco and no thank you to Rosie.
All right. So everybody's favorite now talker, which is now gone, like they were talking about it yesterday on PTI, which I know, Hogs, you listen to religiously because
And I
that
have
show
right now.
is A+, right?
Yep.
And they were talking yesterday about the Sam Darnold bit that the Minnesota Vikings are dealing with, right? And could potentially deal with at the end of the season, right? They are 11-2. This was, they signed him for $10 million. He was going to be their spot starter until so just like the Twins have done before they signed Carlos Correa, they signed Kyle Farmer, so they knew they had somebody to play shortstop. I got that from your podcast bonus. But that's true. They signed Sam Darnold, so they knew they had somebody in case the draft went horribly wrong, and then they would just fire at it again. Okay?
Yeah.
So now they're 11-2. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. He's a dark horse MVP candidate.
Yeah, there are MVP chants in
Right.
the USA Stadium.
He threw
right?
5 touchdowns. He has like 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his last 4 games. All this stuff, right? And we cannot wait as Vikings fans to
dump
get
him.
rid of him. And here is you tell me Everybody is like, no, we're going to move on. This is where we're going to, J.J. McCarthy's team, it doesn't matter what happens. Even if he takes us to the Super Bowl or wins the Super Bowl, we're going to give him a handshake and move on. And we can't we can't franchise him because that's a cruel thing to do. I would gladly be franchised for $40 million. And so would Sam.
Get to the point, Scooch.
Stop me when you want. Just tell me when to stop, okay? Tommy Kramer, Wade Wilson, Rich Gannon, Sean Salisbury, Jim McMahon, Warren. That's my point. Why are we so eager as Vikings fans to move on from a potential starting franchise quarterback? I know J.J. McCarthy is fine. I get that. And I understand that they don't want to put themselves in cap hell by signing him and just doing this. I mean, look at the quarterback, Jeff George, Culpepper, Tavares. These quarterbacks that we're so eager now to just move on from a guy who's led us to 11-2. We can't wait to move on from Sam Darnold. I don't get it. We don't know what J.J. McCarthy has. And I was pumped when they drafted J.J. McCarthy. But right now, they have a quarterback that has gotten them to 11-2, possibly 12-2. And they may get 15 wins, and we might move on.
Yeah. Well, you answered
what is the point?
You answered your own question, right?
Yeah.
$30 million.
Sure.
That's the difference.
But $30 million
against a hard cap in the NFL.
But
right? Hard salary cap, right? That the question is do you gamble? And let's not pretend it's not a gamble.
It's 100% a gamble
of going with the much cheaper quarterback that you're going to be able to have an extra $30 or $40 million to spend for the next 3 or 4 years versus the guy that, yes, he's found his own, but he also found his own just at the time that he could get really expensive, right? And so I think it'll be interesting. I think what will happen is they'll see what the market is for Sam Darnold.
Well, I think that's just it. And this is, oh man.
But somebody will overpay for him. Right?
Well, they will. Look what they did for Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Yeah.
And we all knew, this is not hindsight being 20. We all knew that was too much money for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Even if he was having a Sam Darnold year, it was too much money for Kirk. But good for him. Here's what I would say, and this is a dumb thing for a guy who does a sports radio show to do. I know it is. I do. But don't live in a time machine. Stop worrying about yesterday and stop worrying about tomorrow. Let's have some fun today. Let's enjoy the season and see what happens. If he takes us to the Super Bowl, we'll deal with that problem.
Sure.
If he doesn't, if we crap the bed the rest of the way out, there's your answer. Yeah, right. I mean, let's stop living in a time machine and let's just enjoy this if we can.
No, and I agree with that.
You know what I mean, though? But I hear what you're saying. I'm not ready to move on, but I'm also not ready to sign him yet. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And we don't have to right now.
Well, no. I mean, what you just said is let's see how it goes. And, the answer is one of the things that I've learned in this world is it is how it ends. You might be happy at a job for 4 years. If it ends poorly, you're like, boy, that was a crappy job.
Amen, brother.
You know what I mean?
I can already see it's going to happen.
Right now, we are not at its end yet. We have not seen how this ends.
Correct.
And so the Sam Darnold era will be viewed as it is how it ends. If he gets to NFC Championship game, or if they end up doing an early first round exit, then it's going to be bad. If they end up doing a run and something happens that we make it to the Super Bowl, we don't make it to the Super Bowl, but he's viewed as a real impact player.
Yeah,
we're going to be like, we got to keep him around.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. That's right.
So I don't know. Right. We'll see. And we'll see how it is. How it ends. We haven't seen the ending yet.
Right.
My whole point is it's just very weird how this organization, for the longest time, has wanted a franchise quarterback, and now we can't wait to get rid of one.
Right.
Yep. I feel you.
That's just my point.
And the only thing I would caution, and I hate to be this guy because I'm not this guy. I think we're jumping the gun on calling him a franchise quarterback.
Sam,
I agree. I mean, I think he's obviously doing great, but
he's doing great, and I love him. I hope he is.
Plenty of guys put on great seasons.
I hope that he is.
And then,
well, it's I'm still at the point where, in the second quarter of the game, I'm like, he's not getting, he needs that extra half second. He doesn't feel the pressure or something like that. It's not uncommon. During a game, I'm like, he's not as good as he quite needs to be. And then, what we've seen is by the end of the game, he's been outstanding.
For sure. And he's been great.
To make adjustments.
And he's getting better as we go. I love it, man. That's great. And hopefully he is a franchise quarterback. And also hopefully our team continues to get better, and the team is so good that it's the perfect opportunity for a young quarterback to come in and be great.
There is that.
You know? And then we get a great quarterback on a good quarterback on a great team who could be a great quarterback, and we pay him a lot less money, and we don't handicap ourselves.
Let's say the Minnesota Vikings win 2 more games, right? And they finish 13 and 4, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just say whatever the math is.
I like it.
I don't care.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Next year they move on and they bring in JJ McCarthy.
Right.
Is 13 and 4 the floor for this thing?
Well,
Like we can't. Like, what if they're 8 and 9 next year or not? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
Like this, if unless we are not in this team and the way that this has been set up with stripping cap space and moving on from old vets and getting money, they have $75 million for next season. This has to be a 11, 12, 13 win team next year with JJ, or it's not a successful season.
Right.
Because that's what the fans will say. Why did we move on from the guy that led us to 14 wins?
But what's it going to cost?
Well, but I think though there has to be a point where I don't think the Pats. I don't think the Chiefs. Do you think the Bills are mad that they pay? I'm not comparing Sam Darnold and Josh Allen.
You kind of have to be if you say it that way, though.
But that's fine then.
Yeah.
But I think he has more touchdowns than he's not the same player. Josh Allen is a stud. But do you think the Bills are mad that Josh Allen eats up a bunch of their salary cap? I think the reason that Vikings fans are so scorned about the salary cap is because Kirk Cousins won 1 playoff game with all the money they were paying him. 1. That's it.
What do you think about franchise tag?
I mean, that would be the other option.
And you know what? Ben's point on that is why do that to Sam? I think Sam gives us grace on that because the opportunity's been given.
Hell yes.
I don't.
You know what I mean?
Also don't. The argument, like you're saying, Hawk, of him being mad.
Yeah.
No one would be mad with $40 million.
And again, it's the second time this week I'm going to say this. I couldn't believe I was listening to Barrero, but I was listening to Barrero, and he said he's an adult. Essentially, is what he said.
Right.
Let him be mad. That's fine.
Right.
But again,
very good point.
Let him be mad earning $20 million or whatever he's going to be earning. I don't know what franchising would cost. Would it be 40?
Yeah, probably.
Balls.
I mean, a franchise
you're right.
a franchise tag means you get paid one of the top 5 salaries or something.
Yeah, the average of the top 5.
I don't know if you know this or not. I'm out of my element right now.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best. But you get my point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, let him be upset. I don't think he would be, though, because the opportunity's been given by a guy who saved his career.
Yeah. And
38-3.
And 30, fine. And the other thing, too, is, and your point is correct, Zach. I love that we're having a sports argument.
I am so scared.
I love it, though.
I'm afraid.
But your point is correct. There's a lot of guys that have been great, and then all of a sudden they're not. The point is Sam Darnold he's 11-2. He's thrown a lot of touchdowns. He's played really well.
And he's getting
5.
better each week.
He's getting better each week. The reason guys like this don't do well is because then he's going to go and sign a huge deal with Vegas. Vegas is terrible.
Right.
That's my point. If you keep him here, I don't know. It's an unbelievable sports talk conversation I thought we'd never have.
And here's the thing about that too, with the worry about him getting offended or not liking. You get paid $38 million to throw to Addison and Jefferson and Hawkinson, and
he's gonna be all right.
And build on whatever they do this year. It feels like maybe that was the Lions last year and how they made a run. They have a foundation, and now they're going to get it even better. The Vikings can do the same thing next year, depending on what happens this year.
Well, and for that matter, when you get to the point where he has to get so far in the playoffs or has to get so far in the playoffs for us to justify bringing him back, I would say maybe just the opposite. In general, the Vikings are viewed as maybe the 3rd best team in the NFC right now, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that just kind of plays out the way it's supposed to play out, which would mean they lose a close one, they don't make it to the NFC title game. They make it to the first round of the playoffs, second round of the playoffs, they lose a close one to the Eagles or the Lions, they don't make it to the NFC title game.
God.
You're still looking at a franchise that is like, we're right there.
Yeah.
We're right there. We went 14-3. We made it almost to the NFC title game. We are at the point now where we are a championship level club. Are we making a quarterback change?
Well,
right.
Again,
we're not making a quarterback change. Are you kidding me?
You're making a great point.
You're absolutely going one more year, at least one more year with the guy that you've got. And frankly, there's probably pressure to make it a multi-year run.
And I'm out over my skis. I'm so sorry.
But I love it.
But I'm going to keep going because here's another point I got to make. We built this defense on aging veterans.
Right.
I don't know how many years these guys that we have. I love these guys. And, Grenard's still relatively young.
Oh, yeah.
But our defensive backs aren't. Our safeties, Harrison. So we're going to need some money to do what we did again this year.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be able to spend it all on quarterback. We're just not going to. Or we will not be able to have the great season because we won't have the great defense. It's a balancing act. I'm glad I don't have to do it.
An NFL football team that from 2011 to 2015 started Christian Ponder, Donovan McNabb, Matt Castle, Josh Freeman, and Sean Hill.
Yeah, and listen, I know. How happy are we? How lucky are we?
Right, correct.
It's the best.
But
Let's just say we've paid our dues.
But you're right. But Hawk, to your point, though, is like almost every corner they have is on a 1-year deal.
Right.
So
we got to sign the kid who keeps intercepting the ball.
Well, Byron Murphy Jr.
Yeah, we got to sign him.
Jr., yeah.
Who knows if Harrison Smith's got another year in him? Who knows? Who knows? We've got to have money to spend elsewhere as well. Hey, Ben Lieber, Chad Abbott, Bursage, PA. Are you so proud of us?
Yeah, you should be. Yeah.
I was waiting for what do you think? Get on the phones. 1-800.
No,
the phone lines are. Yeah.
I don't think they work.
I don't want them to put us in our spot.
But
they all know more than I do.
Joey on Twitter is correct. This is a good comeback. Do you think the Chiefs are mad that they moved on from Alex Smith after he took them to won them the division?
Now that is a great point.
That's a great point.
That is a great
That's a great point. Now, is Zacho's guy right?
Mahomes?
Can I say this as well? You'll have Danielle Jones in the pipeline maybe as well to get the same kind of deal that you gave Sam Darnold this year to back up JJ.
That's could be.
Which he maybe he's no Sam Darnold, but we'll have somebody, right? I don't know. There's a lot of scenarios.
It's not like they keep the rights to Daniel Jones, right? Like they'd have to sign him to a 1-year, $10 million deal like they did
for sure.
Darnold, something like that.
And you know what?
Right? You're
right. Maybe another team will snatch him away because quarterbacks are so in demand. But I don't know.
But that is what's going to happen.
I don't know, though. Has he been so bad that nobody's going to want him?
But it's also, and we've talked about this with Lieber, with both Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, this is a weak quarterback draft.
Yeah.
These guys people are gonna want them.
Yep.
It's a long draft.
Well, there's that.
Man, I feel so good, but I'm sweaty and nervous.
That was, man, we were so close to sounding stupid, but I don't think we sounded stupid.
No, I thought we were great.
It was like walking a tightrope. I feel like Linda.
I love you guys.
And you know what else just happened? Nobody criticized us.
Right.
Yeah, we had a great discussion.
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, you idiots don't know what you're talking
Sports
about.
are stupid.
Oh, yeah, I don't read comments.
Well, we're all making fun of somebody else. I'm making fun of Corey. Sports are dumb.
Well, it doesn't sound anything like Corey. You got to get a little closer to his voice. A little higher pitch.
Well, no, sports aren't dumb. Game theory is, part of sports.
Whoa. We leave that to you, buddy.
Yeah, he'll be here tomorrow.
Patrick Morch, we'll get back to being weird after this on the Fan.
The Fan.